edition of Odin Writes Shit. It's still July, so this still counts, I think. Yeah. This month, I will be doing the InkDrop Club selection of Stars and Stripes. It's kind of expected. We have a lot of selections from Diamine, one from Schaefer, and one from DeviantArt. A selection of blues and reds, which, you know, yeah, it's kind of expected. I wasn't too thrilled about this selection, but, you know. Well, let's get started. I'm going to start with, inside my green puppy, is the DeviantArt Atlantic Blue. This color is not exactly the particular blue that I like. It's more of the faded denim color that you see on basically colonial or Victorian motifs when it comes to American celebrations. The flow is very nice. Whee! And once I get right into it, the color turns darker to a point. Yay! I like that. I like the flow of it, I just don't like the color. Let's see. Now, let us find a piece of paper. Notebook paper. And see how it performs. Of course, this means I'd tear one out. Because I would have been prepared, but, you know, I just kind of do things half-assed. Alright. Yeah. Go away. Fear my paper-tearing might. Alright. Piece of regular notebook paper. This isn't really regular notebook paper. This is from 5 Star. Because we all know how much I love 5 stars. But salad. Not a lot of feathering on this one, but I kind of noticed that with the DeviantArt brand, that usually no matter what color you use, it sticks pretty nicely onto the paper. It is a darker color, so there is a little bit of bleed through in particular stopping points when you write. This probably isn't something that you could use two-sided. If you do like to use the regular notebooks, yeah, you can pretty much see that clearly. Now let us see if I can find my water. What happened to my water? There it is. I put it out of arm's reach because that makes sense. Alright, I have my brush. Let's see how it performs submerged. Wow! That is everywhere. Well, initially you can see what has been written, but, I mean, this is going to bleed all over the notebook if you ever decide to take this in the rain or travel. Or, you know, drop it in the sink, because that happens a lot. I'm not speaking from experience or anything, you know. Oh, I did drop it on my notebook. Sorry. Yes. So that is the DeviantArt Atlantic Blue. Let us now go forth in the blue preppy of Diamine's Royal Blue. Wow. Let's go right here. It has a nice flow, but again, this is another color, like, out of the blues out there, and with the most customizable way that you owning the customizable benefits of owning a fountain pen offers. There are other blues that I would probably choose before something like this. But I'm kind of more curious about Diamine because it is more one of the cheaper ends in terms of ink. But it's pretty smooth and it comes out pretty evenly. There's not a lot of shading going on with this. But let us test it out on some paper of notebooky quality. What else do we take to a barbecue? Because this is apparently 4th of July stuff, even though 4th of July is over. But you know, we can still barbecue. Dim pork ribs. That one is also nicely behaved on top of regular notebook paper. From behind, it shows a little bit lighter. There's still a little bleed through in stopping points when you got strokes going on. But this one I might be able to tolerate reading 2 ends of it, especially if I skip lines or something. And now, the Zovato test. I don't know why I just switched accents there. Okay. Uh-huh. That isn't great. Yeah. I'd say that one is less water resistant than the DeviantArt, because I mean, American nipple where she's been drowned out. Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool. I'm noticing this kind of purpley hue that's going around. But in terms of color, that is definitely not one that I personally would buy, but it's a very nice standard blue if you're looking for regular blue where you have to actually make documents that are legit. And you can't use pinks or purples on it. But yes, that was Diamine Royal Blue. Let's see. For the last blue of this series, I have presented in my new Nox Galileo. I will have a review on this sometime in the future, maybe if I get around to it. It's kind of a fun little pen. I just kind of bought that on impulse, but inside this one contains Diamine's Presidential Blue. Wow. And I just recently played with a nib. There we go. Out, damn you. Let's see. What should we talk about today? This one is pretty good for your quintessential standard blue. It is pretty much what you see in ballpoints for basic blues. Behaves pretty well. There is a cat. Cat. Go away. There's a cat on my notebook. I'm trying to do a thing, cat. Hermes. Shoo. Eject cat. Shoot. Little butt. Okay. Walks right in front of the thing. I've been doing this for years, and he still just decides this is a great time to walk. Anyway, what was I saying? Very nice standard blue. It behaves pretty nicely coming out of the feed. There is a little bit of a shading going on. If you see the curve, the top of the curves, there's some pretty good shading going on. Now let us see how it behaves on top of notebook paper. is a little bit of feathering going on. You tend to need to write a little quicker than what you are apt to do, and there is quite a decent amount of bleed through going on. Especially in the edges where you've paused and stopped. Probably not something that I would use regular notebook paper out of. No. Yeah, that's dry. Okay. Now for the water test. Let's see what is going on. That one is actually holding up a lot better than the other. It's still pretty meh. Now, a lot of these results in the water seem very similar to me, but these new inks that I've gotten, these Chesterfields, I think are going to be a lot better results. I will have a review on that with the Nox, because I got them at the same time. Because, yeah, more ink. And it's actually pretty cheap. So, on a completely unrelated note, if anyone is commenting about the water results and being like, well, you should really expect it because you're using fountain pen ink, it's going to bleed everywhere. Well, meh. So, anyway, this one I probably wouldn't depend on very much either, getting wet. So, that was the Presidential Blue from Diamine. Probably not something that I would buy either because of the color. I just, if I'm going to buy a blue pen, I might as well just go buy a ballpoint. It's just kind of my opinion on that. You can get the regular ballpoints either. I like the fancy shiny colors, and I will use them whenever I can until I get yelled at work. And now we have a couple of selection of reds in the pink Platinum Preppy that I have. I have the last Diamine Poppy Red. You can see that just coating the barrel there. That's kind of cool. Alright. Let's move the notebook a little bit. Scribble around. I really like the smoothness of this. The color is very bold and it's out there. Definitely not a lot of shading. It's a pretty monotone color, which I can appreciate. But it's very bright and out there. But very even, and it comes out really smoothly. The color isn't really my favorite reds. Again, if I wanted to buy a red, I might as well go get a ballpoint because this is kind of the same exact color that you would use. But the performance of the smoothness of this is just really nice. I'm not having problems at all getting it out of my preppies. This one is just really fun to play with. I'm sorry. Okay. Now let's see what it does on top of notebook paper. Can you even see this? No. Good. Okay. Huh. A very, very tiny bit of feathering, but another event. This one is actually performing very nicely. It's not scattering everywhere. The coating is pretty even. It's like this one is performing almost as if you were writing with those uniballs. Those colors, the freaking I call them space pens. Frack. Uniball rollers. Hang on, I think I got one. Haha, these guys! Uniball Vision Elites. And it just so happens I even have a red one for comparison. Actually, I don't have the red one, I kind of stole it from my boyfriend. But he doesn't need to know right now. So let's compare it to that. The shade is about pretty much the same. But you can kind of tell the smoothness is similar. I actually rather enjoy it. Now let's see what the bleed through is like. Bleed through isn't too heavy. I still probably wouldn't use this two-sided, because if you can also compare it to the Uniball, that's harder to see and stuff. Yeah. Yep. Now let us check with water. What does this do? Alright. All over the fucking place. Yep. But the text itself is pretty durable. Like, it's... I'm pretty much saturating it and burying it in water, and you can still tell what's being written. So that is Diamine's Poppy Red. I'm not sure if I'd buy this one again or not. Because I really like the performance of it, just the color. I could probably pick a different color, maybe, if Diamine performs similarly. But I'm not too thrilled with, I'm just not too thrilled with the shade, currently. 1, 2, 3, 4, and last, we have, in the purple preppy, Schaefer's Red. Wah. Schaefer. Let's see how this one performs. I need to find a blank spot somewhere. Up here. Yeah, maybe I'll just drag it up there. There we go. I really enjoy the color of this. When it comes to a red, for a basic red, it's, well, red. A little darker than the poppy. Not a lot of shading going on with this either, but when it comes to buying a red pen, this one is a little harder to find and or match. The shading is not very present. I don't know if I just said that 3 seconds ago, but I'm kind of enjoying the color. Now let's see what it does on notebook paper. Not a lot of feathering. It's actually pretty smooth. And on the back, it's about the same in terms of visibility, bleed through thing, as the Poppy Red. It's a little bit better, kind of. It's comparable. I'm not sure if I would get this one specifically for use on notebook papers or not, but there you have that. Now, I've never used a Schaefer brand ink before, so this will be interesting in terms of the water test. Wow, actually, that's pretty sturdy. Well, kind of. That likes to blend everywhere. It's kind of funny because you start it with one swipe and it's like, oh, not bad, and then it starts just going all over the place. And I'm currently having it bleed all over my notebook because that's effective. Yeah, that one's pretty terrible because you can see the lines just completely expand and disintegrate. This one I probably wouldn't buy again, but again, I like that color, so I might just take a risk. The reason why I do such thorough water tests is because I'm very accident prone and things get all over my notebooks from random sources, and even not at my fault. People put things on my notebook and I don't put them in accessible places. You gotta understand. Anyway, so that is the final results of July's InkDrop, Stars and Stripes. I hope you found this mildly entertaining. You got to meet one of my cats. That's usually worth something. Let me know if you want me to keep doing these at all, or not. They're just kind of boring, or you just kind of like me ranting. That's cool too. Yep. I had the Nox coming up. I also bought a Waterman ink along with some Zeherbon Metallics that I might be playing with later on. Other than that, I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.